Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. Before we get into our salutations, greetings, and good mornings, let me just say that it is cold this morning, 1 degree. I'm sorry,
I'll
sir. Did
never
you?
find the words, my love.
You, you,
Tell you how I feel, my
you
love.
see,
Mere
you see,
words
you see what
could
I got to deal
not
with.
explain.
Why is this happening?
Precious love,
Why is this happening?
you held my
Sound like you
life
singing the
within
You
love boat.
you
your
you see how I
hands.
started the show, and then you get the pit over here that just wanna just have their own.
I don't know. That just came over me. I had a
Why did it come
Jermaine
over
moment.
you
I
as
had
soon
a
as I
Jermaine
said
moment.
good morning?
Look, I can't have a Jermaine moment.
No, we can only
The
stand.
love
We can only
boat.
stand one of those. We can't. We can't do.
So how do we know blue is
Two
really
thirds of the
blue?
staff
Right.
can't be crazy.
Those are questions that
Two
are
thirds
Can't
of
be.
the staff
Wow.
can't be crazy.
Well, we know at least 1/3 is.
And you adding to the situation.
I'm trying to increase the, peace.
So I'm gonna start again. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
No, I wasn't saying good morning to you.
Oh,
I was
sorry
saying
about that.
I'm
Sorry
starting
about that.
all
Sorry
over.
about that. Sorry about that.
Good morning. Good
Yeah.
morning. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. We got the news on. They re-showing and re-showing and re-airing and re-airing this Alex Purdy situation in
With his Wisconsin connections.
Minnesota. Yep. Went to high
Green
school
Bay?
in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me say good morning to the bros first before I go. Because when I tell you this is a George Floyd moment in that
Yeah.
there's a captive audience because of the weather.
Mm.
So most people, before it was COVID, but because of the weather, most people are at home. Most people are in. Most people are not moving around. And so you've had the opportunity to see this man be shot in Minnesota who was simply trying to help a woman get up that ICE had pushed to the ground. So, I mean, to the pit of your stomach, sickness. Um, and I think that Governor Walz is right about this being an inflection point, and people are gonna have to choose. People are gonna have to choose.
Mhm.
There are corporations in this country that are going to have to choose, as well as individuals, because see, none of these people get elected without campaign contributions.
Mhm.
None of these people are in office without corporations, PAC money helping them to get elected. Corporations don't make no money when we start applying pressure to them the way we did to Coca-Cola during apartheid in South Africa.
Mhm.
So, good morning. Let me just go ahead and say good morning first. Good morning, bros. How y'all doing this morning? What up, J Money? How you doing, player?
Hey, I can't complain. I'm just normally I would act the fool, but just seeing the stuff that has happened over the weekend has really puzzled me because I I I was having a conversation with some friends and I said yes, they are shooting. Um White people are getting caught up in it, right? So they're getting caught up in it. And it's gonna come a part in time that it's gonna fall on us as well. And when it hit us, they setting it up so cold that we ain't gonna be able to scream racial profile. We ain't gonna be able to scream none of that because we see what's happening to their own kind. And just listening to some of the statements from the higher ups, them saying that he came with a loaded weapon, and then one of them said, "Well, if you don't want to get shot, don't bring a loaded weapon to a protest." But you look at Kyle Rittenhouse that came across state lines with the weapon that was loaded, used it, and got away with it. So it's really, and I was telling people, he is setting this stuff up because he want chaos. You send a letter saying, well, if you want ICE to leave, then give us the voters registration, and then we'll leave. So it ain't even about
What you saying it's about?
it's about you want to control the voting.
They're trying to control upcoming presidential elections and
Yeah.
midterms. Yeah, trying to make sure that he maintains control of both the Senate and the House, and then also impacting down the road the next presidential election.
So you killing people. You killing people in the midst of you trying to get records. You taking lives. So, and if you take your own kind of life, it's nothing for you to take a black person's life because you don't like them anyway.
You know, it's funny. Well, hang on, let me get Debo and then I'll go. Hey Debo, what's happening? How you doing this morning, bro?
Man, I'm tripping. DJT, he's at it again, and you know I play blues on Saturday, but we talked about where we're at as a society and what we need to be doing, because it's time for pastors and anybody else that's got any kind of bully pulpit to speak up, to stand out, to push, to fight.
Yeah.
We've got to do something, because right now it's in Minnesota, but it's going to soon be in our own backyard.
It's coming,
and we got to do something, man. We got to be prepared. We got to rally. We got to do whatever it is that it takes. But something ain't right about this whole situation for me, and it's really, really sad that our government has failed us as a people. When you allow white folks, see, they done took the hoods off and the white sheets, and they just wear masks now, and they call themselves ICE.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, man. I just like you just said, man, it's time for these people with the platforms to open up your mouth. Don't wait until it get here. Don't wait until it's in your front yard, because then it's too late. Then say something before it get to your house, before it get to your front yard, and just to see this stuff happening in our sister state is crazy, man. I mean, that's right next door. That all this stuff is happening, and it's spilling over all over the country, because you got people protesting, you got people marching, and the temperature of the country right now is past 105, and it's gonna get worse.
I think I couldn't agree more. You know, one of the things that you said, because black people, we pay attention. We watch, who's the face of the attacks, who's being shot, who's being harmed, what's being done. And so there was a lot of conversation about the fact that 2 white people have now been killed by ICE. But there, have been other people killed by ICE. Keith Porter, a black man in California, killed by ICE. I think that was like December. What day was Keith killed? December 31st, New Year's Eve. He was killed by ICE. He had been reportedly firing a rifle into the air to celebrate New Year's Eve. And an off-duty ICE agent went to investigate after hearing the gunfire close to his apartment. The agent then came across Porter with a long rifle, and the off-duty officer fired his service pistol after Porter disobeyed the agent's request to put down the firearm. Porter allegedly shot the agent 3 times before he passed away. According to what the agency said, they described the incident saying that ICE agent was responding to an active shooter. So
question.
ICE is not law enforcement.
So that's what I was about to ask.
ICE is not law enforcement.
So I mean,
ICE is not law enforcement.
And you only in uniform to go after.
That's right.
The illegal. So for you to try
ICE
to investigate.
You're not the police. You're not the police. You're not federal.
And plain clothes?
Yeah, plain clothes, and you off duty.
So you don't know.
So you're not even in your official capacity. You're not a police, and that's the one thing that they have been trying to stress. These are not police officers, but they have been given this power that has placed them above just about everybody else. But Keith Porter was killed, and then we know the brother, Hispanic Latino man that was killed in Chicago by ICE. So there have been killings of minority people before Ms. Good and um, Alex, who was just shot this past weekend. One of the things, though, that Jermaine said, and at some point I'll do a deeper dive into this, and this is not an original piece of mine. I've been listening to different folks around the country talk about this whole thing, and somebody talked about the populist movement in America. So for just a quick second, a history moment. I always talk about Reconstruction, that period after slavery ended, in which roughly maybe about 12 years, a number of Black people were able to um, ascend to positions to get elected to federal government, state government. Um, Black men, not women, Black women, but Black men. And there was this moment that it seemed like people were going to try to put the past behind them, work together, um, include Black people um, at every level of citizenship in this country. And then there was a group of people that formed what we know today as the populist movement. And the populist movement was formed by white folks right after the ending of slavery, roughly around 1891, 1892, somewhere in there. And they wanted to curb the power of corporations even back then, banks, railroads, through government regulation. So they began fighting for different policies, and they brought a bunch of different people to the table. That included laborers, farmers. They, reached out to Black people, and it was this an alliance of white people trying to say, "Hey, we don't like the direction this country is going in. Some groups have way too much power, and as a people, we're going to fight back." And they tried to enlist Black folks in the South, as well as, farmers and, like I said, laborers and other people to come along. The populist movement ran candidates to try to enact some political reforms. And if you think about when people talk about progressives, they were like the foundation for progressives, if you will, back in the day. And white people who did not like the idea of this inclusive government and, you trying to give more power to people than we are to corporations and big banks and the railroads who running everything in the country right now, they began to attack members of the populist party in terms of leadership. They were not above killing people. The whole idea was they were telling white liberal thinking people of that day, stay out of it, because we will kill you like we'll kill everybody else. And so as people have been looking at what was happening with Alex Preddy being killed, people were like, some folks, like, this is a signal to liberal leaning white people. This is a signal to white people who may empathize with what is happening in relationship to minorities, communities of color, around immigration. Stay out of it, because we'll kill y'all too. And it's meant to scare people, because think about the mentality of an individual who shoots this woman in the face after she just says, "I ain't mad at y'all," and attempts to drive away, and you willing to shoot this woman in her face, and then called her the B word after you shot her. And then when you look at the situation in Minnesota on yesterday, the day before yesterday, Alex probably was there because he wanted to document what was happening. You already know the background. I don't have to rehash that this man has had a life of service, okay, to this country. Military service, then working as at the in the VA as an ICU nurse. He's had a life of service. He has his camera. He's documenting, and then ICE agents are interacting with people in front of him. They push this woman down. He's trying to assist it. Yeah, I mean, like the way these men are behaving is just completely and totally disgusting because the woman was not doing anything to them.
See, but I mean, don't it seem personal with like how they're treating these protesters? It seemed personal because for how that officer pushed that woman.
I mean, but that's how they
so hard.
Yeah, but they, like they know that they've been given a degree of protection by the president and the federal government. And a lot of these people that they have brought on board are some ignorant backwoods racists who, been looking for an opportunity to start a fight, engage in civil war, and for the what they say, upwards to 30% of Hispanic Latino men that have joined ICE. I don't know what the hell y'all are, except that y'all think y'all white too. I don't know what y'all are. I don't know what y'all are, but it's literally disgusting to see that they are the second largest demographic represented in ICE. But again, you get to be Billy Bad behind when you get to hide behind a mask and you got all your boys with guns around you and you can go out here and just act tough. The way this man was then pepper sprayed and then taken to the ground, then all the rest of them jump on like a bunch of schoolyard bullies. And then the one guy who is kneeling and punching this man repeatedly in his face. And then as they shot him, at one point, it looks like he kind of is able to stagger and get up or do something because you can see his crotch area has a whole bunch of blood by it. And then he still, though, and yes, concealed carry, legal permit. You all know the story. They took the gun off of him before he was ever shot.
And then shot him 10 times.
Yeah, he had never even pulled the gun, never had the gun actually in his hand. But to sit up and listen to the United States government, official after official, lie about what happened. I'm talking about within seconds, minutes of it happening, to lie repeatedly. That's one of the parts for me that is so scary and disgusting, because this whole promise of an investigation, you can't investigate something you already reached a conclusion about. You already came out and told everybody that the man lunged at officers. He was getting ready to attack them. He was brandishing a firearm. Like Kristi Noem's raggedy behind needs to be fired yesterday. But the individual that made sure she got the job, we can't get rid of him, which is the president of the United States. This, I have said it. Everybody has said it, with a degree of reason. These are the most incompetent, ignorant, racist ass people that have run this country in a long, long time. Because we done had racists run the country before. And we've had people that have been willing to sacrifice Americans to be able to get what they want. We see it all the time. And people are like, even when I was listening to Jermaine, I'm sorry, people coming in this morning, these are American citizens. You're sacrificing American citizens. We sacrifice American citizens every day. We sacrifice them with health care and letting them die for stuff that we could, have some type of universal health coverage like other advanced countries have to be able to make. What did Greenland say? No, we don't want to be a part of America. Hell, we got universal health care over here. We got universal education over here. Why would we want to come and be a part of some mess where y'all can't even get basic health care services to y'all damn citizens? Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to come someplace where you got to go broke trying to get an education so you can get a decent job? You get the decent job and all you do is spend your money to pay back the loan that you had to get to go to college in the first place. We already mess over Americans. It's people go to the U.S. Capitol and people that go to the state capitol and people that go to county government and people that go to city government that make decisions to mess over Americans every day. We just not killing you directly, but we kill you with unemployment, 8% unemployment for Black people. Thank you, Donald Trump. We kill you with housing policies. We kill you with mortgage fraud. We kill you with letting people come in and do these predatory loans. We kill Americans all the time. It's just a different form of death. It's a different form of death. You know, Republicans here, we can't get Medicaid expansion. We can't get this covered. We can't get that covered. You kill Americans every day. This is nothing new. It's not like leadership in this country is not above sacrificing American citizens to advance their agenda. Nothing new. They're just using bullets this time. They're using bullets and they doing it in front of us in a way that we can't, we can't act like we didn't see it. White folks down in Mississippi letting Brett Favre them and the administration down there steal money intended to help the poor people so he can look like a big baller shot caller building a damn athletic field for his daughter's school. You sacrificed Americans to be able to do that. We do it all the time. But the idea that you have people that will not speak up, who have been put in office to represent the voices of folks like you and me, that's what's maddening. Because Donald Trump could only do so much if the sorry members of Congress on the Republican side of the aisle would do their job. And if the sorry Democrats who give in, because you keep trying to trust these people and believe that they're going to work in the best interest of the people, if you would hold the line and fight back and do your job, we might have some different outcomes, because he does not have the power of the purse. If we got a sorry Supreme Court who would remember what you learned in law school and how that was supposed to be applied and not come in with your personal ideology and BS, and if we could get that bootlicker Thomas Clarence to go somewhere, maybe we could stop some of this. I got to take a break. But messing over Americans, killing Americans to advance the Second Amendment gun right protections, because how many school kids have been killed? How many? And the one person they wanted to hold accountable in the Uvalde school shooting, was the little lone police officer who was the first on the scene. We ain't holding gun manufacturers. I know he was. Debo said he was exonerated. Found not guilty. But we ain't hold nobody else accountable. This one little man get charged with 29 deaths. But all of the things that go on to get us to that point. Y'all, when people say this is not who we are, yes, it is. This is exactly who we are as a nation. Have been since the day they put the damn ink to paper and created the Constitution. I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
raise your hand. God bless America.
How do you say dummy?
So this is from a rally back on November 1st of 2020, actually. But it's been played over and over again. There was an iteration of it in the 24 election in which you had Latinos for Trump, all sporting their red hats, got the little cucaracha dance going on, doing their whole thing. Some of them have since been deported. That was actually on the stage.
Matter of fact, I think it was the
little bongo player has since been deported.
I didn't vote.
I wouldn't be saying that now.
And I don't even know if he got deported back to his home country.
No, he probably said,
or if he in one of them Ecuadorian prisons or somewhere.
How do you say? Trump help?
Hey, Jermaine. In the word of the great Gazoo,
dumb.
I'm just saying, but don't get it twisted, because I'm gonna go find the clip of what's wrong with you. Look how he got his hat on, like why you got your hat on like a Mexican.
In the words of the great Esther, damn.
How do you say Donald Trump?
I'm just saying.
I would vote for Donald Trump. How do you say?
I just, I gotta say that. But again, I could do it across all groups.
Y'all get y'all material from.
Who wrote that song?
They was getting down too.
I know
I'm about partying, but I could do the Muslim community standing up talking about we helped him get elected. He owes us. Let me see.
Shit.
Let me see real quick if I can find.
The Somalians in Minnesota.
The Somalians in Minnesota who voted for him. The Muslims right here in Milwaukee who was like they could not bring themselves to vote for Kamala. The brothers.
Yeah.
The black folks, the clowns that line up in here all the time. Hey, I'm just saying, as they wait, let me see if I can play this real quick. and then I'm coming. Callers, I know y'all trying to
Hollywood
get
votes
in.
for Donald Trump.
Where is the story? Because when I think about the Negroes that, supported Donald Trump, and they were all, this is why you need to ride with Trump, blah, blah, blah. And where is the story? Philadelphia. Let me see if I can get the audio for it.
Hollywood votes
Yeah, but we all got them though. We all got them.
Trump.
Let me see if I can get video on it. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay, here. Let's do this. Let's I don't trust Fox News. I can't play their stuff.
Let me know.
Okay, yeah, let's go with this one. Ready?
Welcome to the next generation.
Wait. Hang on. Let me get rid of the commercial.
Hollywood votes for Donald Trump.
All right, let's go.
Controversy over the removal of a slavery exhibit at Independence National Historical Park. Today, all that's left, empty bolt holes and shadows on the brick walls where panels once stood at the president's house site. Some critics today coming to the site, adding protest signs in their place. The removal coming following an executive order from President Donald Trump that specifically called out Independence National Historical Park for what the president called a widespread effort to rewrite our nation's history, replacing objective facts with a distortive narrative driven by ideology rather than the truth. Jennifer, a lot of emotion over the removal of this exhibit.
Absolutely. The community has been showing up in force and also posting protest messages, as you mentioned, all over the president's house site, expressing their disappointment, sadness, and anger. The President's House exhibit opened in 2010, telling the stories of those who lived and worked at President George Washington's home, including the 9 individuals who were enslaved. Roz McPherson is the original project director.
The site came out of protest of the Black community to acknowledge enslavement in the most historic mile in the country.
On Thursday, cameras captured National Park Service workers removing the exhibit. And on Friday, even the information stand is now a blank canvas.
I was very upset. So I felt as a resident of Philadelphia, I needed to come and see what had happened.
Some brought flowers, others taking a private moment of reflection. High school art teacher Miranda Thompson brought her students on an impromptu field trip to learn about what she now calls missing U.S. history.
It is crucial that we don't allow history to be replaced, even when it's history that we find embarrassing or shameful.
It's wrong because it's erasure, and it's hiding our truth, and it's hiding our history.
The National Park Service and the Department of the Interior says it's following President Trump's executive order, and says after undergoing the required review, quote, the National Park Service is now taking action to remove or revise interpretive materials in accordance with the order.
We all know it's petty, and we hope that Philadelphia sets the standard for these kinds of fights in other historic sites, because it's happening everywhere.
McPherson says there are multiple lawsuits being filed, including the city of Philadelphia's against the federal agencies. Mayor Sherelle Parker says her team is reviewing a 2006 cooperative agreement between the city and federal government.
That agreement requires parties to meet and confer if there are to be any changes made to an exhibit.
By Friday afternoon, the empty exhibits were filled with colorful protest messages saying history is real.
We have opened up in so many ways to learn all pieces of history, and this is just, I think it's setting us back.
Without Black history, there's really no history.
All right. So, as I said, while I can play the Latino song, we will vote for Donald Trump, it's some Negro songs too, get on the Trump train, ride, get on the Trump train. I mean, it's a whole bunch. We could do. Why? Why? I'm just saying, because we got our share of Black folks, who tell you, oh no, it's the policies. We gonna make some money under Trump. We better get in here and collect all we can while we can. And then you got the suited, and booted ones. They don't sound quite as hood, but they're trying to tell you it's the economic policies. It's ability for black men to, be a part of the system and have a seat at the table. And then you got the just got out of prison, crew. I give respect as a black man in the Republican Party. They helped me get a job. You got that. You got all of that.
Came for Meech and Greg at the same time.
I'm just saying, I'm coming for everybody. I'm coming for all of them. And then, the sisters who just, I don't know what the black women be out. I moved to Oak Creek so I could get away from the bullies at MPS, so I could be around the bullies in Oak Creek. Assistance. Yeah. I'm just saying, I moved my children to a safer school so they could be called a nigga in the hallway, but they wasn't being beat up by the gangs on 24th and Cherry, but they getting, put out of school by the white folks and but it's better.
Why you pick that spot out?
Don't act like it wasn't a gang. It was a gang on 24th and Cherry. Don't act like the Cherry Street gang wasn't real. Look, I ain't live over there, but I heard about them.
I said I grew up, I ain't say I still live there.
I was saying,
Cherry Street gang.
Don't act like this is not real. But I'm just saying, so you got the little sisters parading around through here. Oh yes, I got to live around white folks for my kids to be safe and be treated fair. Oh, but your kids can't learn nothing about slavery.
See,
and the thing that's
Jermaine grew up around the corner over there.
It don't matter.
That was the suburbs back then.
I know it was. I know it's called Blackfish Bay.
Yeah,
I already know.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, and I wanted to play that clip about Philadelphia because as Keisha and I are getting ready for our next upcoming HBCU college tour, we got this coming up next in March. We were in Philadelphia in 2025 with our group of kids on the college tour. Babies from Milwaukee, and I hope some of these kids that went on the tour realize. And if you are a parent who sent your kid on the tour, talk to them and remind them, didn't y'all go through and see this exhibit while you were in Philadelphia with Miss Lakeisha and Miss Michelle on the college tour? We walked these kids through this whole thing.
And it's no longer there.
And it's gone now.
Yeah, it's been taken down.
Like literally Milwaukee babies who went with us. That's the great part about doing the college tour with an educator and a history teacher, in fact, in terms of Lakeisha, because she's going to make sure we see all of these historic sites. And it's built into the day. And so the babies, they got to walk through the exhibits. They were asking questions, reading all of the information. George Washington actually had enslaved people working in the house, like all kinds of stuff. And now it's gone. So for the black men and women who no, Trump is the best thing since sliced bread, or the black men, I can't vote for a woman, or, the black man, Kamala was trying to put us in prison. Yeah, Negro, but now you don't even know your history because you got somebody literally taking it off the walls, taking it out of classrooms, getting rid of it in military bases, renaming, stuff that was named after black people. But you was worried about drug dealers having been put in jail by Kamala Harris. That's what you was worried about. I'm more concerned about the drug dealers than I am the future of this country. So while I played the Mexican song, vote for Donald Trump, every group that decided that they could not support Kamala Harris, whether it was because of sexism, racism, ignoranceism, stupidism, whatever ism it was, it's a whole bunch of people that's the reason why we sitting where we sitting right now. And you just got to keep asking people, is this what you was voting for? And some of them gonna say yeah, because they was on some racist nonsense. And some of them gonna say yeah, because they don't love themselves. They don't love their people. They don't know what, it means to have drank the Kool-Aid up the Weidlers and have believed this nonsense. It's some black men who really thought the Republican Party was going to get him some damn respect, but you can't even get a job in the White House. But we know we've had the caller who's called in and said, it don't matter if we ain't at the table. It don't matter. We ain't got to have a job. Long as we get some trickle down money from them, baby, it don't matter. We done had that too. Y'all done listen to it with me. I don't care if it ain't no black folks working in the federal government. Black women have been pushed out of the federal government in record numbers, creating poverty in many circumstances in these black households. Black kids who went from a middle class, upper middle class income situation to now their mom is in a food stamp line trying to get free food because of Doge and Donald Trump and y'all boy. But y'all kept black men out of prison though. That was already dope dealers under Kamala Harris. The Muslims, oh, she's not doing enough for Palestine. Well, what they doing for y'all now? What they doing for you now? And these are some people I consider friends right here in Milwaukee. But what they doing for you now? The Palestinians, 2 boys just got killed. Talking about they crossed the yellow line. It is in Gaza yesterday. They are looking for firewood. The Israeli military line talking about they were setting off bombs. Where the hell you getting bomb making material from? And everything over there is torn up right now. They out here looking for firewood. You done killed 2 children. 13 got killed last week. And then, of course, the good Somali people and this ignorant fool standing up. Yes, we voted for Donald Trump and we will vote for him again. We will support Donald Trump. Everybody, we could do this for every demographic. Women for Donald Trump. All your little rights being taken away. They got you barefoot pregnant back in the kitchen. And if you ain't blind and a size 0, and willing to just kiss up and say anything this dude won't, he ain't got no use for you. So all you plus size white women, piggies, who voted for Donald Trump, how'd you feel that day? Because that's a whole bunch of Wisconsin women, because we think in the mill. We think in Wisconsin. Got the weather. We gotta be. But all you white women who was out there, oh, I gotta vote for Donald Trump. White women for Donald Trump. And if you was a size 12 and up, you was a piggy. Because that child that he called Piggy was not no fat girl. I'm just saying. Let me go to the phone line because I know people mad at me. But I'm sorry. It was a whole bunch of stuff had to be said this morning right away. Hey, caller, what's happening?
This is Michelle.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning, bro.
Listeners. Yeah, you definitely on it from all through the break, expressing this is what the U.S. is. And I let my brothers know in the studio that's what we need to get prepared for. We getting ready for Milwaukee. We need to understand the history of movements, our movements. We need to understand that, as you said, it's a clear contradiction when a black man and Hispanics was murdered by ICE or shot by ICE. Any way you want to look at it, it was no marches and outrage then. What is it that people are fighting for, and that's what I'm expressing to people. If you want to get ready, fight for something, fight for justice. Don't fight against something. See, they into fighting against something. And when you fight for something, it has a different level of conviction. I've talked about that before, the conviction that gives you the power in your spine, because you mentioned something with hospitals earlier, but 500 to 1,000 people a day die from preventable situations in hospitals, meaning they don't have to die. The hospital just mess up. But because hospitals, mainly the government and university hospitals, have immunity. So what are you fighting? Are you fighting immunity and unneeded deaths? What was, it's 500 to 1,000 to die a day in hospitals that could be prevented, but you can't do nothing to the hospitals. And some say, well, they got insurance. Well, if I kill somebody and I'm a doctor in the hospital and the insurance cover me, am I made accountable or am I free. As you know, some of our local politicians told me, "Hey, bruh, you know, we immune, so go ahead with your battle. We good. Got to understand the history that white people get killed up. It was 1886. You have the Bayview massacre,
right,
of white people fighting for an 8-hour week because they didn't want to be treated like our enslaved ancestors, working, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. They was like, hey, we white. We need to be doing something else. But the National Guard was called on them and they were shot. In Chicago the same year, somebody threw dynamite and blew up protesters.
Right.
When you talk about us supporting racist individuals, we did that with Woodrow Wilson. Black people supporting Woodrow Wilson, who fired all black supervisors. No black people should be supervising over white people in the federal government. And, he just went through, the only thing black people can have is mediocre labor jobs. And we've seen that with this administration, but nobody was protesting the hundreds of thousands, more than 300,000 black women losing their job in federal government. Those things are not being protested. We're being tricked. We're being tricked. White, I said this before, white veterans being killed, in the 1930s, being attacked in the military with tanks and everything under Hoover, later on with Berkeley and Kent State, all of this type of stuff. And I know in Wisconsin, and maybe you can tell me in Minnesota, but my understanding in Wisconsin, when you have concealed carry, when you come across police officers, you have to inform them I have a concealed carry.
And he did.
So they know that you have a firearm.
And he did. He told them.
That's something that I think that is one of the things that people in getting ready, you need to have an attorney. And I appreciate the people before that person that got shot in Minnesota, I think before he got to the coroners, they filed an affidavit to sue the federal government. That we're forgetting that we need to get our legal teams ready, because you cannot fight guns with body and flesh unless you're ready to get your butt whooped or die. I was just reflecting Dick Gregory during the LA Rebellion in the 60s, how he accounts coming across a young boy, 9 or something like that, where his son, his father here was shot off or decapacitated or what have you. You got to be ready. And Dick Gregory ended up being shot in that interaction of in the melee of the rebellion or what have you. So I'm saying you got to be ready, know our history, get our legal team together. If you're going to be talking stuff, Lloyd Bobby was getting people out of jail for free. Where's our attorneys at? When we got people that had federal cases here, ask them. It's $10,000 to $100,000. If the federal government charges you for a bogus charge, that's what you got to pay. So get your cash ready. Where do we have access to cash and attorneys? That's what we need to be getting ready. Fight for something so you can get those things ready, people. Please. Peace and blessings.
All right. Thank you, Brother Shear. I appreciate it. One thing I do just want to say, when Shear talked about black folks supporting Woodrow Wilson, I think it is fair to say that there was a bit of a bait and switch. Woodrow Wilson made a whole bunch of promises to black folks when he was, running to get in office and doing what he was doing. He had support from W.E.B. Du Bois, editor of The Crisis, NAACP, and a lot of prominent black people, to Brother Shiar's point. But Wilson had talked about something called a New Freedom Platform, and he promised equality. So it wasn't just they knew he was a racist, ignorant clown, and they still rode with him anyway, like these brothers today. They know Donald Trump is a racist, ignorant clown, and they rode with them anyway. Because, Kamala Harris did something as a attorney general, doing her job. And then when you get the numbers don't match up to the rhetoric that the Republicans fed black men and women in the streets. But Woodrow Wilson had a platform called the New Freedom Platform. And then he got in office, and most of his cabinet were Southern Democrats who brought, their belief about segregation and workplaces, restrooms. They didn't want black folks, like Shah said, to be supervisors. And Woodrow Wilson did nothing. He just let the cabinet run with it. And then, of course, the infamous Birth of a Nation is shown at the White House in 1915. That's Woodrow Wilson. But it was a bait and switch. It was black folks trying to believe somebody was really going to help them without really being honest about that person's record previous to them running for office or previous to them coming to ask for your support or for you to get behind them. In the case of Donald Trump, I might give you 2020. I might. I shouldn't, but I'm going to give you 2020. There's no way I give Negroes a pass on voting for Donald Trump in 2024. Zero way. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So I am going to switch gears, get in some local stories, maybe bounce around, bring some national stuff back in. But we were talking about the shooting in Minnesota and what is now turning into continued stepped up rage about the shooting. We've seen protests even here in the state of Wisconsin and around the rest of the country as a result. I was super proud of the thousands and thousands of people who showed up in freezing weather to, support not only this individual that had been killed, but they were showing up even before he was killed. One of the things that the city of Milwaukee did over, and this is actually before the shooting of Alex Preddy, but they put out something called Know Your Rights and Resources webpage that has been launched. They put out a press release saying that this has been launched. So residents of Milwaukee, especially those who are not citizens, are understandably feeling a sense of fear, anxiety, and uncertainty in light of the inhumane actions that ICE, just Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has displayed in communities across the country. The fear is not unfounded. And we want residents to know that we stand with them during these uncertain times and will do what we can to provide timely information and make sure they are supported. To that end, we have launched a webpage to compile resources, including general information, fact sheets, preparedness tool kits, and legal support options. So this vital information is available in one central hub. The new website can be found by going to the City of Milwaukee homepage, and let me I'll go there and pull it up specifically. And I went to the page, and there is a ton of resources that they have put in place, everything from making sure that you have a basic plan about if you leave the house and family members don't return, how do you alert people? Whoa. Got the fire truck going down Capitol. But how do you alert people to what's happening, that potentially there's something wrong? So the City of Milwaukee webpage, /city clerk, /know your rights, and available resources. It is out there. And there are general resources provided by Voices de la Frontera, Forward Latino, Legal Aid Society of Milwaukee, ACLU, Immigration Legal Resource Center, La Calsa, Milwaukee Turners. And I'm going to say something. The NAACP's behind needs to be on this list. To the point that people are making about what do Black folks do when we get caught up. The NAACP's behind needs to be on this list of general resources. What's the plan in the Black community when Black folks get snatched up by ICE? That's American citizens. Or some Black Somalians, Black Haitians, Black whoever. What are we saying? So you see the groups that you expect to see. Voices de la Frontera, Forward Latino, Immigration Legal Resource Center, La Calsa. All of those are Hispanic serving agencies for the most part. Where the damn Black folks agencies at? Where they at? When I saw it, that's the first thing I thought. Where's the NAACP on this issue? Where's the information we put out to help people understand what your rights are? To the point that Brother Shiar made, who we call? Because see, the Hispanic community got some free lawyers that's going to show up for their people. Who do we call? Who do we call as Black folks where we ain't got to have $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to be able to get people to help us out in a situation like what we see going on with ICE? Where the Black lawyers that standing up saying, hey, we dedicating these people, these resources. This is who you can call. The National NAACP. And the Urban League, which is more economic organization, but people ought to be talking. The Black Lawyers Association, where they at? To the point that Shiar made. When I saw the general resources, that's the first thing I thought. Because Keith Porter was a brother who was killed by ICE in California. So they have on here, know what to do if you stopped, what to do if a friend or family member is detained, find where someone is detained, how you do that, what to do if immigration is at your place of work. You know, we now see the 5-year-old who is separated from the father, but they could give that 5-year-old child back to the mother, but they haven't, or they hadn't up until yesterday when I last checked. Why is ICE detaining a 5-year-old child when there's a mother and family members you could give that child back to? See, all of this is intended to be punitive. And as people are rallying around to figure out how to fight back, one of the things that we have to say, Black folks, we need to be preparing and planning as well. So from the national organization on down, where is the information? And I also understand it's only a handful of people that actually make the NAACP go here in the city. If you go to the monthly meeting, it's the same people every meeting for the most part. You might get 1 or 2, 3 or 4 strays in and out, but for the most part, it's the same people who are getting on up in age that are trying to hold the NAACP down, because we have decided overall as a community that we don't value that no more. We don't see the purpose. If we don't get a ticket through the Freedom Fund dinner, we're not a member. I am somebody who had regularly attended, and then life gets to be whatever, and I got a whole bunch of other obligations, so I don't get to go. So I'm including myself in the we need to do better. We got to do better. Let me go to the phone. Is there a person on the phone? Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
To you and everybody in there with you. I want to say something.
Okay.
This man in the White House, he is robbing the United States. When he get done, we will be broke. We won't have anything. He's going to rob us and leave the country. Not only that, all our brothers and sisters voted for him. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself. I know if some of y'all parents was living, they would disown y'all, because what had they ever done for us? I'm out the South, and I wasn't born, but Little Rock Central High, I seen how that portrayed it. My sister went over there where they went got them kids from and took them over there. They ain't never did enough for us. You ought to be ashamed. And then I ain't never seen a white person. They Caucasians, and they don't know their pigment or their skin. At least we know that. And not only that, Baron Harris, cold black. Which one of his kids got cold black hair? I ain't never seen none of. And he want to deport people. He needs to side by deporting his wife.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the call. Yeah, that is, pot calling kettle black. JD Vance's wife is dark as some black folks. But child immigrants. Donald Trump's wives, all immigrants. Melania still can't speak English to save her damn life. We know it's do as I say and not what I do. We see it all the time. Everything, to the point that the caller was making. I still have to break down this article that the New York Times did a few days ago about Donald Trump and how much money he has made since being in office. It's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening. Jay, do I have another caller? Let me get them in before I keep going. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning to you.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm appalled of all the insults to people like myself.
Are you appalled?
Yeah, that have a vision. To have a vision to go forward. See, what we have to realize, and I heard the brother come on. He gave us a little local history, a little modern day history of what's going on with Woodrow Wilson and the whole deal, and he gave us some history. But I want you to understand something. This immigration thing. If black people don't take this serious, we ain't gonna be no more.
But look, hey, stop focusing on immigration for a second and just talk about what Trump's policies have done to black people.
But your topic was
no. I went across the board. I went across the board. I talked about.
Can I address one of the things that you want to? Can I address?
Do something other than immigration, because see, you a one-trick pony, really. Two. You talk about immigration and you talk about the LGBTQ community, but you don't never ever talk about Trump's policy impact on the black community. So, what's your comment about him removing all the information about enslaved people and their contributions in Philadelphia? What's your comments about the black women having 8% unemployment? You don't never have nothing to say about your people. You always got something to say about somebody else's people. Say something about your people, Meech.
Okay, can I say something about my people?
Go ahead.
I love my people.
I can't tell.
Let me say this to you. One thing about it is that it's not them hunkies, okay? It's not their responsibility to keep me and your history alive. See, we keep our history alive.
Why not? We are taxpayers. We are taxpayers. That is a public installation. We pay for that. Just like we paid for the workers who took it down. Just like we paid the salary of the man who made the decision to change the policy. So I don't know where you live, but it is our responsibility to hold people accountable to tell the truth about our history and our contributions.
Can I say this to you right
now? Go ahead, bro.
Okay, listen. Here's go a good one. Now, you know Hawaii, right? Hawaii was a territory, right? Here's a good one. Hawaii was a territory.
How what?
A territory before it was only.
Oh, you said Hawaii.
Hawaii, right?
Okay,
it was a country. It was a country for a few minutes. But listen, if you go back and this is a good example. I'm glad you stirred something up in me, because guess what? If you go back and look at Queen Lily Lokalana and her brother King David Lokalana, if you look at them is Negroes, them is blacks. But you know what they did? They allowed them Japanese to come in there in the late 1800s, like 1890 something, and start working, immigration working. They need to work in the fields, all of that.
You know what? If you could just deal with black folks.
Filipinos that took the island, propped up by white folks. They were Japanese that come in there with this work stuff. And guess what? Now you got Filipinos, you got.
We ain't got to go to 1893, bro. We can look right out our window to 2026.
We got took over by Hawaii. Hawaii was a nigga island. Now you got these Filipinos.
A nigga island. Okay.
Hold on. Look at this here. Now we got these Filipinos running around with black noses and black lips, and we think that's how it goes. No, we were dominated and moved from that. Then if you look at Texas was one time a country, okay? Then they transferred over. The Mexicans came in again trying to push back. Let me explain this to you. For those black people, we got what we wanted out of Donald Trump. We got this.
What did you get? What did you get?
We fighting this immigration.
What did you get? Because most black folks didn't get no damn about immigration. What did you get, Meech?
Oh, yes, they do.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because most black people realize these Mexicans going to work in this country is not impacting their ability to get a job.
Listen, this is what they impact.
They're not competing against me. I've never competed against many of these people that are illegal immigrants getting a job.
This is what they're doing.
Tell me what else but tell me what else we got first. Tell me what else we got. Tell me what else we got. You said we got immigration. What else did we get?
And we got this what you call these pronoun thing.
Your LGBTQ drama. Okay, you got immigration and the gays. What else did black folks get?
That's what most black people.
That's what we cared about. So we didn't care about health care. We didn't care about employment. We didn't care about education. We didn't care about our history. We was more concerned with somebody saying him, her, and I pronouns than we were about whether or not you taking black history out the schools. Whether or not you dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across corporations, across the federal government. That's what we was concerned about.
You know why they did that.
That's what we were concerned about as black people.
Why did they attack equity inclusion programs? Michelle.
I cannot do this today. I can't do it today, bro.
Can you tell the listeners why they attacked that?
Can you tell the listeners any negative thing about Donald Trump and black people?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
I think he's moving, on his own. He's moving without.
What the hell does that mean? That ain't nothing negative. Bye, Meech. Hang that phone up. Hang it 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 up. I ain't got time.
I think
got
you
time.
moving.
It's madness, man. It's madness. It's madness.
That cat crazy.
It's madness.
I mean, I just can't believe some of the stuff
You
he
can
say.
put the laundry list out here. What I say? He twists himself in knots.
Yeah, I can't
to
believe
defend his foolishness. But the fact that you think that black people's priorities, if we given our top 10, our top 5, that we got immigration and him and her pronouns at the top of our list, Negro, you way more out of touch than I even imagined.
And you got people dying.
I mean, literally, you worried about how somebody chooses to identify, but we got 8% unemployment for black females in this country now under Donald Trump's administration as he guts the federal government. The Department of Education being dismantled. Historically black colleges and universities being threatened by the Trump administration for what they're offering, trying to infiltrate their board of directors and their board of regents and get control of those schools. Companies running scared. Northwestern Mutual, Manpower running scared in this country, in this state, because, oh my God, we may have a black affinity group. We may have a diversity initiative because we realize that we don't have enough people of color in these C-suite roles, these directors, management roles that reflect the actual people we serve. So there's an imbalance here. Something is going on here. Minority teacher loan programs in trouble. Minority apprenticeship programs in trouble. But that's what you think black people more worried about because you use him, her, and they as a pronoun? Yeah, okay. So I said I was going to do some local stuff. Let me do that. There was a press release put out by Alderwoman Larissa Taylor on January 25th. She said, it has come to my attention after receiving numerous calls that several 9th District residents have not received their mail from USPS over the past week. One resident reported that she went in person to pick up her mail and was told that it was, quote, out for delivery. She expressed concerns that she will incur late fees for bills that she has not received and that her husband's medication will not reach him on time. Residents who have been impacted by slow non-delivery are in the 53223 and 53224 zip codes, with the majority located in the 53223 zip code. I was also made aware by the Brown Deer Village president, that many of her residents have been impacted as well, as the village of Brown Deer shares the 53223 zip code. This is unacceptable, and I am calling on the Postal Service to call in extra staff immediately to tackle this mail delivery backlog affecting our neighborhoods. Okay, I didn't see this. In the year of our Lord 2026, this simply cannot occur. Larissa, what do that have to do? So, in the year of our Lord 2026. People be doing too much. Larissa, Alderwoman Taylor, I appreciate that you flagging this situation. I actually live in Alderwoman Taylor's district, and our mail has been fine, but we got the kind of post boxes that the mail delivery don't have to get out to give us our mail. All they got to do is roll past, throw it in the box, and keep on going, So for the mail, I wondered when I read the press release if it's people who folks got to get out and walk up to your house to deliver mail, if some of that might have been like, it's cold. And, even though I know what the little motto of the Postal Service is, rain, shine, sleet, snow, whatever, that maybe some of those people might have got slighted in delivery. I don't know. But I will just say I appreciate her for putting something out, for being on top of it, for trying to reach out to the Postal Service. I think it would be great to get an explanation for what is going on. And if you are someone who has been impacted or you're noticing something going on with your mail delivery in that area, 53223, 53224, reach out to Alderwoman Taylor's office, let her know. You can call me, let me know, and I'm happy to pass it along. We got a caller. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
My bad.
That's okay.
Let me put that for the speaker.
All right.
I'll tell you, some of our black people crazy as I don't know what. gay words. Listen, I did it. I'm waiting on one more piece of paper to come. I went to Brookfield to get the Toyota to the dealer. They play too much. That's why we need our history still here. For one thing, they can't just play with a person. And I'm serious. I don't got time to play with people. So I went on Silver Spring and they handled that for me. They found the information. They found where my truck was made and everything. So that's perfect. Now I'm gonna come down there and get the lawyer from y'all. I ain't gonna go messing with them. I ain't gonna go do nothing. But it seems like everybody that around me, they just want to hype me up. I ain't got time. I got too much going on.
That's right.
I ain't finna jump off the boat, and I ain't catch no fish. I ain't doing it.
And they're not gonna jump with you, bro. They're gonna leave you out there hanging. And when you sink, you're going down by yourself. So do it a way in which you get the business handled, but you don't put yourself in harm's way in the process.
No doubt. And with this Trump situation, you're right. I don't believe that Democrats and Republicans won't stand up. I think every last one of them, except the ones that are standing up and doing something or trying to do something about this idiot. I mean, how could I look at a video and then tell you that that is not what you're seeing? Come on now. It wasn't supposed to be ran like this. I thought not Thomas Jefferson, but one of them said that it will come a day where the United States will have to clean out the White House. These are my words. Clean it out. And the day is today that the White House needs to be cleaned out of these tyrants and the blood of patriots. And look at this idiot running in the street. Boy, you lucky. I'm sorry. Fool run right in front of me. But the bloods of patriots and tyrants will have to be spilled to get these idiots out of these positions. And I want my history not to be here. The history of these here, United States, is Black history. There is no other history of this land. And for them to actually trying to wipe it out, that should tell you something. Okay, I'll rap about this. Is it about 100,000 Black people in Milwaukee?
I don't know. Let me look real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, now just say it is. Now, if we could get 100,000 people, or 300,000, I thought it was, to donate $100, we can open up 3 grocery stores, give every Black individual a job, and everybody that participated in donate that bread after a year, every 6 months, everybody would get some kind of check from those grocery stores. And we can have get our food from the Black farmers. And we don't have to keep going through. We got to pull together somehow, some way. Because I'm tired of playing these games with these people. I really am.
All right,
to go to these places and them. I'm gonna tell y'all, I went and got some fish, some catfish. It wasn't catfish. It was a sponge, and it's right in our stores. I ain't gonna even say the name though. Witness, it's in a red and blue bag. Don't buy that. That ain't real. That ain't real at all.
Well,
that's wrong.
Well, what's the name of the store, man? What?
I said it.
Who is it? I don't know what a red bag is. It's who?
Is that Witness? You'll see it as catfish.
It's that Witness?
Yeah. They used to have these big old. It's not catfish.
It's like plastic.
It's oh my God. It's a sponge. They used to have these big bags for like $29.
Okay.
Now that catfish came from Mississippi, this farm. They done took that out, got all that nasty tilapia. And tilapia ain't a good fish for people to eat. That's a bottle. He eat more stuff than the catfish eat. But they're getting the catfish that eat on top of the water, not the bottom of the water. But these red blue bags. That ain't catfish. It's a sponge.
All right, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, family. Look, I got to take a break. He said a lot. I'll take a look at some of it. I also got some information. Appreciate the sister who forwarded to me regarding the USPS situation. So I'll bring that clip up. Channel 12 has been reporting on this. I'm going to be honest. I've been out the loop. The furnaces went out in our house. And we've been dealing with 2 furnaces. Yeah, we got furnace for upstairs, furnace for downstairs. Oh yeah, the first day it jumped off. What was that? Friday? Yeah. So furnaces went out on top of everything else that's going on. So yeah, we ain't paying attention to nobody. Nobody. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
Kendall Keys is digging into the issue. Brown Deer residents are reaching out to 12 News to share their frustration with snail mail crawling at a pace even slower than normal. Some say they've gone weeks without delivery. Kendall Keys is digging into the issue live at the post office at 60th and Bradley Road. Kendall, this is impacting a lot of people, including the village president.
Right. And she says she's hearing from people who get their mail from this post office, which is thousands of people in both Brown Deer and Milwaukee, many experiencing significant delays as important tax documents get mailed out.
Emails, text messages, Facebook messaging, and calls.
Wanda Montgomery, Village of Brown Deer president, is flooded with messages from residents, many asking the same thing.
What's going on? I'm not getting my mail. Some people, it may be a couple of days, others, it's weeks.
While her phone is buzzing, her mailbox isn't.
I have not gotten mail now since, I believe, Friday. And I am registered for informed delivery, so I know what should be coming, but there's nothing.
Residents 12 News heard from.
Sometimes when you check the mailbox, we don't have any mail.
Say the inconsistency is a consistent problem.
Mailing the bills and everything's all late.
I haven't got it for the past week or so.
Taylor Hamilton says he's waiting for his W-2.
Online, yes, it's supposed to come yesterday.
And then you go to the mailbox and
it's not there.
What's that like for you?
It sucks.
The United States Postal Service didn't answer 12 News' request for comment Wednesday. One resident, though, sharing this email she received from management at the post office on Bradley. It says the Bradley station is backed up due to employee availability and route adjustments and weather conditions.
We have a lot of seniors in the village of Brown Deer that rely on things coming to their mail. And when they don't get it, that's an issue.
Sounds like what you're saying is that USPS needs to do better here.
Absolutely. I couldn't get away with it and keep a job.
Kendall, the village president told you that she's also trying to get this issue resolved.
Right. She says she's had multiple conversations with Milwaukee's postmaster about the issue, and she's working to schedule a meeting with Congresswoman Gwen Moore and Senator Tammy Baldwin to see if they can help on the federal level.
All right, folks. So if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that we actually have the village president of Brown Deer, Wanda Montgomery, joining us. Wanda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. Jermaine, clap it. People, happy to hear from you this morning. Thank you so much. You were actually listening to the show and called us. So thank you so much for reaching out. Can you give us a little bit more backstory about what we're hearing and about what can be done to try to rectify this?
So the backstory is the U.S. Postal Service, and I've got to just reference this with, I believe, it didn't just start now. This started, if you recall, a few years ago, I believe when Trump was in office, and they began to try and change the postal system with that LaJoy or some guy
right.
that they bought in. But, of course, they tried to privatize it. Of course, they want to reduce staffing to save more money. So what the postal, and let me just back up and say this. I was getting calls from residents. I was also like, okay, I got informed delivery. I'm not getting mail. So once we started getting all of these folks complaining, the village president and I reached out to the postmaster general for all of 532. So anybody with 532, whatever, 53224, 53223, 53218, if your zip code starts with 532, we met with the postmaster general and the second in command under her on Friday morning. I reached out to the Larissa because I knew, Autumn Roman Taylor, because I knew that they shared some of the same areas. But we also invited Congresswoman Moore and Senator Baldwin's office. So we had a meeting on Friday morning, at which time we learned a lot more. And I don't think this is unique to Brown Deer. And when you don't, you kind of just think, well, they're slow today, this is happening. But what the post office has done is they did an assessment or review of all of their routes. And this was done, I believe, back in the summer when the weather is good and you may not get as much mail. And so what happened is we had 33 routes in the village of Brown Deer. They reduced that to 27 and then said, we're going to push some of these routes together. So where people may have had, and I talked to someone yesterday, where people may have had 400 coast mail carriers might have had 400 to 500 drops a day. Now they're up to 700. And so what ends up happening, they can't do overtime. So once you get to, the end of your day, you got to stop and carry that mail over to the next day. But I believe this went into effect after the first of the year. So some of the people who got all of this service or mail drops, some of them called in sick. Like, we ain't doing this. So then you got back up, and then they done already reduced the staff. So when we met with them on Friday, I told them I went over there myself because I wanted my own experience to say, I'm coming here to pick up my mail. And they told me on Thursday, all your mail's on the truck. There are 2 trucks that are covering your area. I ain't getting nothing on Thursday and nothing on Friday. So when we were meeting with them, I told them. So I got my own experience. But what they committed to is we're going to call in extra people from other sites. And we're going to work on this weekend, including Sunday. And I kid you not, I got drops yesterday on Sunday 4 times to catch up on the mail. They delivered a package to my house on Sunday night at 6:20, a coat that I've been waiting for. So I get it, but this goes back to elections matter. You vote for people that don't care about the services, and we've already seen it this time around. They're cutting the IRS department, they're cutting education, they're cutting health. They can't catch up with all that stuff. And so they're trying to make people do more work with less pay, and we're the unintended consequences, or maybe we're the intended consequences. So that's what's happening. And folks, people are out there in this cold weather delivering mail. In Brown Deer, the advantage is they're on a truck, so they just ride up and put it in the boxes. But even with that, when it's a package, they got to get out and bring it up to your door. So people need to be paying attention, because sometimes we just think, I don't have no mail. Well, I can look online. I get notice today I'm supposed to have 8 pieces in my mail and a package. So I know. So we need to be watching.
And it's real crazy because LaJoy resigned last year in March. And the guy who is now the new headmaster for the Postal Service is somebody who is a former CEO of FedEx, which is actually interesting considering that is a competitor, of the Postal Service. And so as people are talking about the downsizing and what's going on, I think that the foundation was being laid to, like you said, privatize the Postal Service, dismantle it, make it inefficient, make it ineffective. And then when you are doubling, in some cases, the workload of some of these postal workers, no one can get overtime. People then, you got to carry this over. So you never get caught up. But I think that I'm blown away that once you go in and you say all of this, how you're able to get a response, quite frankly, Wanda, when nobody else has really been able to get any movement on this.
Well, look, I'm looking in the people's face like, what y'all gonna do? Me and the village manager. Tiffany Henry was on the Zoom representing Senator Baldwin's office.
Okay.
But when I tell you the second in command called me yesterday morning, I was getting ready for church, and he said, "Did you get any mail yet?" I'm like, "No." He said, "Well, I'm guarantee you, your mail will come to you today. If my husband's medication was in, he said, I will put it in your box myself." And literally, he came and put my mail in and took a picture and texted it to me so that I could see that it was in the box. So, but it's not just me calling. It's a lot of our residents calling. That's what I'm saying. People, the old saying, squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Right.
We have to be diligent. And this is a prelude It's a prelude to elections coming up.
Thank you, because that's
I
exactly
mean, we
where I
got
was
to
going. Thank you.
don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep, because don't put your stuff in your box outside your house thinking they're gonna come get it. We need to be diligent, because this is all in the plan.
Thank you so much for updating us, being responsive, reaching out, actually getting the meeting scheduled and set up, because way too many times people hear about this stuff. The follow through is terrible. Unless people are personally impacted. And this is my district. I'm in 53224. I watch Lakeisha's medication and her dad's medication come in that mailbox, all the time. And so I know it's not just the elderly people, it's all kinds of folks that are impacted across the board. So Wanda, it is appreciated. Like I said, you were listening, you initiated the call to us, made sure that we were aware of this meeting and what, some of the next steps were. If people continue to have problems, any suggestions for them?
There's a 1-800 number. The Postmaster General told us people call. Again, the squeaky oil gets the oil. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. She said, call this number, complain. They want to hear from. The union guy was in one of those stories, and he broke down the issues, which we had already heard, and then he said, please give us grace. We're going to try to get it caught up. So it's not the people that are working, it's those higher ups that are making decisions that then they got to implement. And it's impossible. You got people out here with 40 below wind chill factor delivering mail, and they got to catch up on all of this. So I get it. The other thing is they are hiring. So if you want a job, they are hiring. Now, I don't know how much they're hiring if they don't cut these routes back. And that's not unique to Brown Deer. They have cut routes back all around 532.
All right, Wanda, I'm going to do some more research on it, because it's clearly something we got to pay attention to. Thank you for taking the time to reach out this morning, make sure we were as informed, knowing as much as you know. And we appreciate the work. This is what responsive government looks like. This is the type of folks you vote for to put in office, keep in office. So it's appreciated and respected. I thank you for the call this morning.
Thank you.
Man, this is crazy, y'all. And like I said, so we getting our mail. We haven't seen days, and Wanda is right though. If you are not signed up for informed delivery with USPS, you should, because sitting here, my USPS hits my email every morning around 7:30, no later than 7:35. I know exactly what's supposed to be in my mailbox. My mail typically runs around 11ish. I know exactly what's supposed to be in my mailbox because they've scanned it all in and I see it. So if it's not there day after day after day, something is going on. But if you have not signed up for that, I encourage you to sign up for informed delivery with the United States Postal Service. Do we have any other calls? Are we okay? We got a call. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning. Good morning, Milwaukee.
Good morning.
Just to piggyback off what Cousin said, what Wanda was talking about, she is correct. And I did see the stories on 6 and 12. Starting today, they have our CCAs, which is Career Carrier Associates, are all diverted over to Bradley to catch up on all of that mail. They have taken so many routes out of Bradley, not once, but 3 times in the last 2 years. They have made those routes longer. And they are working 12 and 14-hour days because wifey is there. And
okay.
She is at the Sherwood station. And they have so many people over there, which they can take some of those people and divert them to Bradley. And they can do that around the city. But they make sure your Tuckaway post office, your Cold Spring Roads, all these Greenfield stations and then that, they are saturated with carriers. They need to come back to the north side. Because a person to be out in whether they're in a truck or if they're going house to house. If you got 300 stops and then they add another 75 stops to that route, by the time they come in the house after getting off work at 7 o'clock at night, it takes 2 hours to thaw out. And then you back up on the floor at 5 o'clock, getting ready to go back to work to be there by 7.
Yeah, this
Dave
is
Durant and the CSUN needs to sit down and say, okay, what's more important? Am I going to get a bigger raise at the end of the year? My bonus, is it going to be that significant where it won't really affect anybody? But I want my money. I don't care what they do. So I want all these carriers out of the station by 8:30. They could case the mail in the back of the truck. This is what's being said to them by their supervisors. Hurry up and get out the station. Get out the station. Y'all can do that on the street. Don't case the mail in the building. Do it on the street. That's wrong. You got to be in the back of a cold truck trying to sort your mail out and to be on the street, because when you come in the building, you got so much time to case mail, and then by 8 o'clock, 8:15, you got to switch to out. It means that you're on the streets. You're on your way to the streets. So you're punching in at every different angle you're on. And so many houses has a barcode on the mailbox to let you know when you reach that point. And when they time study that, they figure out a way, okay, if this person here had another 45 minutes that they could be actively delivering mail, we can make the route longer, which is wrong. You got to have time to eat. You have time to go to the bathroom. It's so much to do. And a lot of these people that are in management, like the CSUN, never carried mail in their life, has never carried a piece of mail in their life. They had a brother who was over the post office in Milwaukee. His name was Easton Wright. That man had did so much for the post office. He even enacted a law where they changed where they could hire felons to carry mail in the city of Milwaukee. And he had it done. They hired so many people under Easton Wright. But, somebody didn't like Easton. So what you do? You throw salt in the game. They had him removed.
man.
So
Okay.
Wanda is right. They have all the CCAs at Bradley today. They were told to pick their vehicles up from their stations and to head over to Bradley.
All right, I'm looking at it now. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Love you all.
Love you back. That's a whole bunch of information. Anyone that's having problems with their mail being delivered, Wanda followed up with the phone number. You should call 800-275-8777, 800-275-8777. Somebody else just hit me up and they said that they just tried to go and do informed delivery for their address, and they said when they put it in, I just tried to sign up for informed delivery and my address is ineligible. I've never heard that. I don't understand what that is. So now I'm gonna have to look into that, because why would your address be ineligible for informed delivery? Okay, so that's crazy. So we'll get that piece figured out. But look, family, it is a lot that we have to pay attention to keep our eyes on top of. I'm going to end the show here, if I could, because I am stuck on and will be stuck on, particularly as somebody that has a degree in Black history, this consistent effort to wipe out who we are, what our contributions have been. I want to let folks know that a woman who has been pivotal in this nation's history has passed away, a woman by the name of Gladys West, who was a mathematician who paved the way for what we know today as GPS. Gladys West went from a one-room schoolhouse in rural Virginia to college and to working on planetary motions and modeling. She said, I really did like geometry. While she was in high school, I fell in love with it. She navigated segregation to become an esteemed mathematician, and today her work helps billions of people navigate the world. Her pioneering career contributed key elements to what became the GPS satellite system and was later acknowledged as a, quote, hidden figure of GPS. She died this past Saturday at the age of 95. This woman did not get a lot of credit initially, like a lot of Black people who contributed greatly to what we see in this country. But she was born during the Jim Crow era in Dinwiddie County down in Virginia, which is south of Richmond. And she dreamed of having more books, more classrooms, more teachers, more time to imagine what life could be if only given an opportunity. She attended an HBCU, which was Virginia State College, which is now known as Virginia State University, where she studied math and joined AKA sorority. She then taught math and science in segregated schools in Virginia, got a master's degree in 1955, the same year that President Dwight Eisenhower banned racial discrimination in federal hiring. Now, Donald Trump does de facto stuff to make it where we do have discrimination happening. In her work for the U.S. military, Gladys West used complex algorithms to account for variations in gravitational, tidal, and other forces that distort the Earth's shape. I'll talk more about her tomorrow, but I wanted people to understand, if you do not know who this incredible, phenomenal sister was, Gladys West. When you are using GPS, when we get on a plane, when we are doing anything that requires directions, and we know how we can be about, finding our way around, it was a Black woman who was at the forefront of this work, who had gone relatively unrecognized for many, many years. But she is an award-winning scientist that has regularly been credited with so much. She programmed the IBM 730 computer to deliver increasingly refined calculations for an extremely accurate model of the Earth's shape. Optimized what ultimately became GPS orbit systems used by satellites. This woman was incredible. 95 years old, just passed away this past Saturday. The only way people get to erase our history is if we stop telling it ourselves, in addition to making folks accountable. Let me see real quick. Okay, I don't need to do that. Okay, so all right, y'all, that's a wrap for the show today. Clark Kent had joined us. I never got a chance to say good morning to my brother. Hey, Clark. Debo's over there now. We don't want to talk to him. All right. Wow. Everybody, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Jay, appreciate you. Family, stay on top of the game. Stay woke. I don't care what nobody tell you. Stay woke. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.